The Tombstone and the Tier, every evening just before sunset, Commander Jace Varen walked up the lonely hill outside New Terra Base. It was quiet there. No flying ships, no patrol bots, no noise. Just the wind and the soft rustle of grass under his boots. At the very top stood a small stone, not grand, not decorated, just a simple gray tombstone with a name carved on it, Alara Miles, scientist. Soldier, lost, not forgotten. Jace stood in front of it like he did every day for the last 15 years. He never missed a single evening. Rain, snow, heat, or storm. He came, stood silently, and placed a small white flower at the base. Sometimes he would speak. Sometimes he would just close his eyes and listen to the wind, hoping to hear her voice again. Alara had vanished during the last wave of the Galactic War, not killed, not found. Just gone. The final explosion of the alien rift gate had taken her, and no one could explain how. All that was left behind was her helmet, cracked and burned. For Jace, the pain never faded. He sat down on the cool ground, beside the tombstone, and took out a small metal box from his coat. It was old and scratched, but still played music when opened. A slow, soft melody started, the same one Alara loved to hum. He let it play and whispered, "I miss you." The wind blew gently through the grass. Then, something strange happened. His earpiece crackled. That was impossible. It hadn't worked in years. He pulled it off and stared at it, confused. It crackled again, and this time a voice, soft, almost broken, came through. Jace. His heart froze. He looked around. No one. Just the empty field and the evening sky turning orange. Again, the voice. "Jace, it's me." His blood ran cold. The voice was low, distant, but familiar. Too familiar. It sounded like Alara. He stood quickly, scanning the area. "Who's there?" he called out. No answer. He ran a scan with his wristband. No signs of movement, no heat signatures. Everything was normal. And yet the voice had come through clearly. Then the earpiece sparked again. This time he heard something different, a series of strange beeps. A code. He recognized it immediately. It was the signal they had created together during the war, a private frequency no one else knew. The code repeated twice. Then silence. Jace's hands trembled. Either he was losing his mind, or Alara was somehow trying to reach him. He looked down at the base of the tombstone. Something was off. The grass looked recently disturbed, like someone had dug there and covered it back. He dropped to his knees and began pulling at the dirt with his hands. After a few minutes, he hit metal. A small circular object, silver, alien in design, pulsing with a soft blue light. "What is this?" he whispered. It wasn't human tech. It looked similar to the ancient devices recovered from the Rift War. Jace had seen one before, when Alara first showed him the artifact she had been studying before the explosion. He picked it up, and as soon as he did, the object lit up brighter, and a small hologram appeared above it. The image was blurry, but he could make out a woman's face, short hair, dark eyes, wearing a half-burned science uniform. "If you found this," the voice said, "I'm still here. I'm alive, but I'm not in your world." Jace stared in shock. The message played again. "I'm alive. Not in your world." The device began to beep louder, and a beam of blue light shot out toward the sky before vanishing. Jace stood, frozen. For years he believed she was dead. For years he cried over her grave, and now she was speaking to him. A soft wind blew behind him again. "Jace," a whisper came right behind his ear. He turned sharply. No one was there. His heart pounded. Tears filled his eyes, but not from sadness this time. For the first time in 15 years, he felt something different. Hope. He looked down at the device, still glowing in his hand. Whatever this was, he would follow it. He would find her, and maybe, just maybe, She had never been gone at all. The voice from beyond. Jace Varen didn't sleep that night. He sat in his small cabin outside New Terra Base, eyes fixed on the strange alien device, glowing on the table in front of him. Every few minutes it blinked softly like a heartbeat. He couldn't look away. He couldn't stop thinking about that voice. Ilara's voice. 15 years of silence. 15 years of tears. And now one whisper had shaken his entire world. He kept hearing it in his head. I'm alive, but not in your world. How could that be? The galaxy had seen many strange things during the war. Time rifts, teleportation fields, disappearing, soldiers. But none of it had ever made sense. Until now, the device made a soft clicking noise. A new light appeared, this time in red. A projection shot up, showing alien symbols dancing in the air. Jace didn't recognize them, but he could guess what they were. Coordinates, a map, maybe even a signal. He activated his old military scanner and tried to trace the origin. Nothing on the human network, nothing on the satellite grid. But then, an echo. A faint one buried deep in the encrypted layers of the comm system. Something was broadcasting from within the dead zone, a forbidden area, abandoned after the final battle of the Galactic War. Of course, Jace muttered. That's where she disappeared. The dead zone wasn't just dangerous, it was cursed. Entire rescue teams had entered and none returned. Strange energy pulses still came from there sometimes, but no one dared to investigate anymore except Jace. He packed light, just weapons, a breathing unit, his wrist scanner, and the alien device. The next morning, he flew a small stealth skimmer and headed toward the zone, his hands tight on the controls, his heart heavier than ever. As he crossed the first security barrier, the system issued a warning. You are entering restricted territory. Proceed at your own risk. He didn't hesitate. After an hour, the landscape below turned gray and broken. Cracked metal fields, burned out ships, twisted steel towers. The ruins of the final stand. Jace landed in silence. Dust swirled around him. The sky looked unnatural, like it was always on the edge of a storm. As he walked, the device pulsed faster in his hand like it was guiding him. Suddenly, his comm link sparked again. Jace, he froze. The voice again. Ilara, he said out loud, spinning in every direction. But again, nothing. Please, the voice said. Don't stop, I'm close. The ground under him cracked. He jumped back just in time as a part of the ruined surface gave way, revealing a hole, deep, dark, and pulsing with blue light. It wasn't natural. He looked down into the hole, and for a brief second, he saw something. A reflection. His own face. But it was twisted, like it was being seen through time itself. He dropped a flare into the hole. It fell and disappeared into a swirling mist. Then, the device in his hand spoke again. Enter. Time is breaking. His heart raced. Was this a trap? He didn't care. With a deep breath, Jace tied a rope to a nearby structure and lowered himself into the hole. As he descended, the air grew colder. The light became strange. Time itself seemed to bend. His fingers blurred, his thoughts echoed. When his boots touched the ground, he was no longer in the ruins. He stood in a strange space, half like a cave, half like a machine. The walls were smooth, glowing and alive. Everything around him felt like it was breathing. A tall figure stepped forward from the shadows. Not human, an alien, tall and graceful, with translucent skin and glowing eyes. It spoke in a soft voice that echoed without sound. You carry her voice, the alien said. She is trapped beyond, and you are her key. Jace stepped back, confused. Who are you? Where is Ilara? The alien touched the device, and a new image appeared. Ilara, alive in another world, another layer of reality. She looked older, tired, but she was moving, speaking, fighting. She's alive, Jace whispered. The alien nodded slowly, but not for long. Her dimension is decaying. She sent the signal using forbidden technology. The link is weak. Soon, it will break. Jace looked at the swirling portal behind the alien. Let me through, he said. The alien paused. If you enter, you may never return. The time flow is broken. You could age 1,000 years in a second, or live a moment forever. Jace clenched his fists. I don't care. Why would you risk your life for a ghost? The alien asked softly. Jace looked at the image of Alara once more. Because she's not a ghost. She's my reason. The alien stepped aside. Then, go, but beware. Even love cannot fix what time has shattered. Jace took one last breath and stepped into the portal. What waited on the other side was not what he expected. In the echoes of the rift, the moment Jace stepped through the portal, the world around him vanished in a rush of cold wind and light. It felt like falling, but not down, sideways. Space bent, time twisted. He couldn't breathe. He couldn't see. And then, silence. When he opened his eyes, he was no longer in the dead zone. He stood in the middle of a city, but it was not any human city he knew. Tall spires of glowing stone reached into the dark sky. Floating platforms moved quietly. Between them, strange creatures walked the streets, humanoid but not human. The air smelled different, electric, alive. Jace stumbled forward, dizzy. His skin tingled like every atom of his body had been stretched and reformed. His wristband blinked wildly, broken. His comlink buzzed with static, but the alien device still worked. It blinked softly, guiding him. Suddenly, voices echoed all around him. Not loud, not clear, like memories floating in the air. She doesn't belong here. We must erase the signal. The human will come. Jace looked around, trying to find the source. But there were no people nearby. The voices weren't real. They were echoes, echoes of thoughts, of time itself. He kept walking, and then he saw her, Alara. She was across the square, leading a group of rebels through the shadow of a fallen tower. She looked older than he remembered, tired, dirty but strong. Her hair was shorter, her eyes sharper. She held a strange rifle in one hand and gave orders with the other. Jace froze. Alara, he whispered. But she didn't hear him. He ran toward her. As he reached the edge of the street, the entire scene glitched like a broken video file. The rebels vanished. The buildings changed shape. The sky flickered. And suddenly he was back at the center of the square. Alone. The device in his hand buzzed and displayed a message. You are in a rift echo. This is not reality. Jace clenched his jaw. So where is she? A soft hum answered. He followed the signal deeper into the city, past buildings that flickered in and out of shape. Some streets were full of light and music, others dark and crumbling. It was like walking through time itself. After hours of wandering, he reached a chamber deep underground. It was circular, with a glowing platform in the middle. Ancient markings surrounded it. The alien from before appeared again, this time as a hologram. You are near her, it said, but to reach her, you must enter the core. It stores all timelines. You may see many versions of her, but only one is real. Jay stepped onto the platform. Light swallowed him. He now stood in a black space full of floating mirrors. Each mirror showed a different version of Alara, one where she died in battle, one where she led the alien army, one where she never met him, one where they lived a quiet life on a farm, one where she was a prisoner, trapped in a glass room crying out for help. His heart ached. How do I find the real one? He asked. The device in his hand blinked once, then twice. He moved toward the mirror with the glass prison. As he stepped through it, pain shot through his body. His memories started to twist. He saw his own life being rewritten as if his choices were shifting. But he pushed forward. And then, there she was, the real Alara. She sat in the corner of a small room made of clear crystal. Her eyes were closed. Her hair had turned white at the edges. Her hands shook. But she was alive. Jace touched the wall. She opened her eyes. They widened in shock. "Jace?" Her voice cracked. He nodded, his throat dry. "I came for you." Tears ran down her face. "I thought I was dead. I tried to send a signal, but it took everything. I didn't know if you would ever find it." "I found it," he said. "I found you." But the reunion was short. Sirens screamed through the chamber. A mechanical voice echoed in the air. Timeline breach detected. Human anomaly inside core. Ilara stood. "They'll erase this reality. They've been hunting me for years." Jace looked around. The crystal walls began to shake. The mirrors outside started to break one by one. "Then we leave. Now." She pointed to a console. "I can open a door back, but it will only last for a few seconds." She pressed a sequence of alien symbols. A new portal formed behind them, flickering, unstable. They ran toward it, but just before reaching it, a creature blocked their path. It was tall, metallic, covered in black armor, a timeline guardian, a protector of the core. "You do not belong here," it said. Its voice was not sound, but pure pressure on their minds. Jace raised his blaster. "Get out of the way." The guardian stepped forward. Ilara whispered, "We don't have time." "I'll hold it off," Jace said. She shook her head. "No, we do this together." Side by side, they faced the guardian. The final battle inside the rift had begun. The war. They never won. The guardian moved like smoke and steel. Tall as a giant, arms like blades, its body pulsed with shifting energy. Its face had no eyes, only a smooth metal mask that shimmered with changing symbols. Jace and Ilara stood their ground. "Stay behind me," Jace whispered, raising his blaster. Ilara shook her head. "You're still the same, always trying to protect everyone. And you're still impossible," he replied, trying to smile, but fear filled his chest. The guardian raised one long arm. The symbols on its body turned red. "Timeline violation confirmed," it said in a voice that echoed inside their skulls. "Resetting reality." Before Jace could fire, a beam of energy shot toward him. Ilara grabbed his arm and pulled him aside, just in time. The beam melted the floor where he had stood. They ran toward the portal, but it was already shrinking. Ilara pointed to a control node glowing nearby. "We need more time. That node controls the core's pulse." Jace turned and fired at the node. Blue sparks exploded from it. The portal grew slightly, but the guardian roared, a soundless wave of pressure knocking both of them to the ground. Ilara crawled to the console and started typing commands. Her fingers moved fast, like she'd done this 100 times before. "I'm unlocking an old rift tunnel," she said. "Not stable, but it'll take us out." "How do you know this system so well?" Jace asked, breathing hard. "I've been trapped in here for 15 years, she said. "I've learned their language. I've studied their tech. I've survived alone." The guardian leapt into the air and came crashing down between them. Jace fired again. Useless. The bullets passed through the creature's shifting form. "We can't fight it," Ilara shouted. "We have to outsmart it." She reached into her jacket and pulled out a strange crystal device. "What's that?" Jace asked. "Something I stole from them. It bends time around a person only once. It gives you 5 seconds of frozen time. And you've been saving it? For this moment." She shoved it into Jace's hand. "You take it. Distract the guardian. When time freezes, move behind it and push it into the energy well. What about you?" "I'll keep the portal open, just go." He didn't want to, not again, not leave her behind. But there was no time to argue. He activated the crystal. Suddenly, everything stopped. The world froze. The guardian stood still like a statue of metal and mist. The lights in the air paused mid-flicker. Ilara's hands hung in motion above the console, her mouth frozen mid-command. Jace ran. He leapt onto a support beam, sprinted behind the guardian, and used all his strength to push as the crystals, power faded, time snapped back into motion. The guardian stumbled and then fell, straight into the energy well. A scream tore through the room. Not from the guardian, but from the very walls. Reality shook. The mirrors shattered one by one. Timelines collapsed. The portal shrank rapidly. "Alara, now!" Jace shouted. She slammed her fist on the console and ran to him. They jumped together, but only Jace landed. He rolled onto solid ground in a burned-out city square. He turned, eyes wide. The portal was gone. "No, no, no, no!" he shouted. "Ilara!" He searched, scanned, screamed. Nothing. Just silence. The alien device blinked slowly in his pocket. It displayed one message. Rift closed. Anomaly remains inside. Jace dropped to his knees. She had saved him. Again. Just like the last time. And she was gone. Again. Or so he thought. Until a voice whispered through the wind. "I'm not dead. Yet, Jace, don't stop." The voice wasn't coming from the device. It was in the air. Somewhere, Ilara was still alive. He stood up, breathing heavily. This wasn't over. 2 weeks later, Jace had returned to the base, but he didn't rest. Every day, he worked to rebuild the alien device. He spent sleepless nights decoding the language Ilara had learned. He spoke to scientists, rebels, even old enemies, anyone who had knowledge of the rift. His mission was simple: reopen the tunnel, get her back. One night, as a storm rolled in over the hills, an old war veteran came to his cabin. "You're chasing ghosts, Commander," the old man said. "She's gone." Jace looked him in the eyes and answered, "She's not a ghost. She's the only reason I'm still alive." He turned back to the device. The screen blinked once, then twice, and then, for the first time in weeks, a new signal appeared. A code, a voice, her voice. "Jace, it's me again. They've locked me in a loop. Time repeats here. But I remember you, and I'm still fighting. I'll find a way to open the door from this side. Don't give up on me. Not yet." Tears filled his eyes. A slow smile formed on his face. "I never will," he whispered. He looked at the stars above. This time he wouldn't fail. Her memory, his mission, for days. Jace Varen barely slept. After Ilara's voice returned through the signal, everything changed. It wasn't just hope anymore. It was proof. She was alive. Trapped, but alive. And now, he had a mission. Break the time loop and bring her home. But the more he studied the alien device, the more dangerous the truth became. This wasn't just a rescue. This was a war across timelines. The forgotten archive deep under New Terra base, sealed behind blast doors and protective scans, there was a hidden lab known only to the highest military minds, the Forgotten Archive. It was where they stored all classified alien tech from the Galactic War. No one had entered in over 10 years. But Jace had clearance, barely. As he walked through the dark corridor lined with crates and relics, he remembered fighting beside Ilara here. This was where she made her greatest discoveries, and her most dangerous mistakes. He reached an old console and connected the alien device. To his surprise, it unlocked a new layer of encrypted data, something even the humans had never accessed before. A warning flashed in alien script. Project, Echo Core. Failed. Sealed. Forbidden to open. Behind that message was a blueprint. A machine. One capable of opening time tunnels. But at a cost. It needed a living link, someone connected to both sides of the rift. Jace. He was now that link. The last message, the alien device buzzed and blinked. A new voice message from Ilara came through. She sounded weaker now, tired, like time itself was wearing her down. Jace. The loop resets every 7 days. Every time I try to change something, they erase it. But I remember you. I remember your voice. The loop is cracking. They can't stop it for long. But I need you to bring the music box. Jace stared at the message. The music box. He had it. Always carried it. It was the only piece of their old life he kept close. But why did she want it? Then he remembered. Years ago, Ilara had modified it. She had placed a tiny hidden chip inside, something she never told anyone about. He opened the box and found it. Inside was a memory crystal. When he placed it in the scanner, a projection of Ilara appeared. Not just a message, but a full memory. Recorded years ago, she sat in a small room, eyes red from crying. "If you're seeing this," she said softly, "then I'm probably lost, or worse. But this memory holds the coordinates to the Echo Core. If there's a chance to fix the rift, it'll be there. Jace, don't come after me unless you're ready to face the truth. We didn't start this war. Someone else did. And they're still watching." The hidden enemy Jace followed the crystal's coordinates to a far corner of the galaxy. Planet 91E, Zorith, a dead world destroyed in the early battles of the war. But it wasn't dead. Underneath the surface was a massive alien complex, the Echo Core. Jace descended into the darkness, guided only by the device and Ilara's voice in his heart. What he found was terrifying. Thousands of machines, still active. Towers of data stored in light, and in the center, a massive time engine, humming with unstable power, and standing before it, a figure, not human, not alien, something in between. Its voice was calm. Old. Cold. "You are Jace Varen," it said. "We knew you would come." "Where is Ilara?" Jace demanded. "She is inside the loop. She was never meant to escape. She broke the cycle." "Let her go. You misunderstand," the being said. "This loop is not her prison, it is her protection. She discovered the truth, our truth, and we cannot allow it to spread. Then you'll have to stop me." The figure raised its hand, and time slowed, but Jace was ready. He activated the alien device combined with the crystal from the music box. A wave of energy blasted from it, breaking the time lock. The Echo Core trembled. "You cannot control the past," the figure warned. "No," Jace said, stepping forward. "But I can. Fight for the future." Breaking the loop, Jace reached the main console. Ilara's voice played in his earpiece, guiding him step by step. She had left these instructions long ago, hoping, praying he would one day find them. As he input the final sequence, the machine's core exploded with light. The loop shattered. The walls of the Echo Core cracked, revealing hundreds of timelines collapsing into one. Jace fell to his knees. And then, he saw her. The real Elarashi stood at the edge of the collapsing chamber. Alive. Real. No echo. No illusion. Jace ran to her, and for the first time in 15 years, he held her again. "You found me," she whispered. "I never stopped looking," he replied, holding her tightly. But the Echo Core was falling apart. The ceiling rumbled. Cracks split the floor. If they didn't leave now, they'd be trapped. "Again, this time forever, the portal," Ilara said. "We can still use it." "Are you sure?" "No," she smiled. "But we don't really have much of a choice." They ran hand in hand toward the platform. As the structure behind them collapsed, they jumped. A light in the darkness. When Jace opened his eyes, he saw the stars. He was back on New Terra. The sky was calm. Ilara lay beside him, breathing softly. They had made it. They had broken the loop. But something was wrong. His wristband showed a new date. 100 years into the future. The legacy they never knew. The wind was soft. Too soft. Jace Varen opened his eyes slowly. The stars above were brighter than he remembered. The air tasted clean. Too clean. He sat up, confused, and looked around. He was lying on a hill covered with green grass. Not burned. Not broken. Not the dead zone. This wasn't their world. Not the one they left. Next to him, Ilara stirred, her eyes fluttering open. "Jace?" she whispered. "I'm here," he said, helping her sit up. She blinked at the sky, the trees, the strange glowing towers in the distance. "This isn't right," she muttered. "This isn't our time." Jace checked his wristband. Date. Year. 1324. They had jumped 100 years into the future. The world that moved on. They walked toward the glowing city in the distance. As they approached, sleek drones scanned them from the sky but didn't attack. Instead, one drone floated near and spoke in a soft female voice. "You are not registered citizens. Please state your origin." Jace looked at Alara, then back at the drone. "We're from the past. Year 3024. A pause. Then, you are part of classified records. Please follow." The drone led them into a clean white tower at the edge of the city. Everything was different. No military guards, no warships, no fear. People walked freely, smiling, wearing strange clothes. Peaceful. Alara stared out the windows. "How did the war end?" she whispered. They were taken to a tall room with transparent walls lined with glowing symbols. An old man dressed in robes of silver and blue entered. "You're alive," he said quietly, eyes wide. "Who are you?" Jace asked. The man bowed. "I am Director Kell, head of the Historical Unity Council. You are legends." The Museum of Ecoskel led them to a massive underground chamber. A museum. But not just any museum. The walls were covered with holograms. Of them, paintings, recordings, even a statue of Jace and Alara standing back to back. Weapons raised, eyes full of fire. Jace's heart pounded. "What is this?" Kell smiled. "You disappeared a century ago during the Echo Wars. But your story lived on. People believed you died saving the future." "We didn't die," Alara said. "We were trapped." "And now you're back," Kell said. "And the world you saved has no idea what really happened." Alara walked to a display showing the original alien device they had used. It was sealed, in a glass case labeled, "The Key That Ended Time." "How did peace come?" Jace asked. Kell answered slowly. "When the core collapsed, all rift energy vanished. The enemy vanished with it. Your sacrifice forced humanity to build, not to fight. Your names became symbols of hope." Alara looked stunned. "We were never trying to become heroes." Kell nodded. "But sometimes, heroes are made by the fight they never chose. The truth beneath peace, but peace had a shadow." That night, Jace couldn't sleep. He walked alone through the quiet city, thinking about the loop, the Echo Core, the Guardian. How could everything end so clean? He followed a hidden signal from his rebuilt wristband, an echo buried deep in the system. Alara's device still had life inside it. It blinked once, then projected a warning. Rift anchor detected, unstable anomaly growing. He followed the signal to the edge of the city, an old bunker, half buried under trees. Inside, he found a secret lab, and in it, a machine. Another Echo Core, active. His breath caught. The war hadn't ended. It had simply gone underground. A young scientist entered, startled. She had pale skin, glowing eyes, part human, part something else. "You shouldn't be here," she said. "What is this?" Jace demanded. She hesitated. "This is the backup. The council told us never to use it, but some believe time is a weapon. They think your return is a sign to begin again." "Begin what?" "A new loop." Return to fire. Jace ran back to Alara. "They lied," he said. "Peace is a mask. The rift still exists. The technology survived. Someone is trying to bring it back." Alara's face turned cold. "We can't let them. Not again." They went to Kell, but he didn't seem surprised. "You don't understand," he said. "The loop was never evil, it was balance. Some believe we need that control again." Jace stepped forward. "Then they didn't learn a thing from history." Kell stared at them sadly. "You belong to the past. This world is not yours anymore." "Then we'll fix it again," Alara said. The final plant, they returned to the bunker with the young scientist's help. She didn't agree with the council's secret plans. She showed them how to overload the backup Echo Core. But this time it was different. There would be no escape. 2. Shut it down, one of them had to stay. Inside the time stream to collapse it permanently from within. Ilara looked at Jace. It has to be me. No, Jace said. We just got each other back. And that's why we can't lose this. Future, she said. Let me do it, he begged. I'm the key. I'm the link. She touched his face. No. I'm the one who started this. I'll be the one who ends it. Jace couldn't speak. His throat was tight. His heart broke again. You promised to find me, she whispered. Now promise me you'll let me go. Tears ran down his face. He nodded slowly. They kissed one last time, and then Ilara stepped into the core. The echo ends. The world trembled. Light burst from the core. And then, silence. When it cleared, the lab was gone. Only Jace remained. Alone. Again. But this time, there was peace. Real peace. A legacy remembered. Years passed. Jace became a teacher, a guide, a quiet man in a world that no longer needed war. He never remarried, never stopped looking at the stars, and in the center of the city beside the old statue a new one was placed. Ilara Miles, the woman who broke time to save the future, and below it, in tiny letters carved by hand, she whispered my name. And I followed her across time, echoes beyond the end 20 years later. The city had changed again. It was now a glowing monument of peace, a place where time no longer ruled lives, and war was just a chapter in history books. Children ran freely through clean parks. Floating ships glided across the sky like birds. No more soldiers. No more screams. And yet, Jace Varen still walked with a weight in his heart. He had aged, his hair now streaked with silver. He limped slightly from old injuries, but his eyes were still sharp, full of memories, full of love. He visited her statue every week. Every time, he placed a single white flower at the base, just like he had done before, just like the first time. But today felt different. A visitor from the stars as Jace stood by the statue watching the sky. A strange humming sound filled the air. People looked up. Something approached from beyond the clouds, a glowing silver pod, not human-made. It landed silently in the middle of the plaza. Drones surrounded it instantly. Security alerted. But Jace stepped forward. From the pod, a small girl emerged, no more than 10 years old. She had black hair, dark eyes, and a strange symbol on her hand. Behind her, no one came. Jace's breath caught. She walked straight toward him and spoke, her voice soft but sure. My name is Lara. My mother's name was Ilara. Jace fell to his knees. What did you say? She told me. If I ever escaped, to find you. To find Jace Varen. Her final gift, Lara took out a small device, a music box, old, scratched, familiar, the same one Jace had once carried. But now it glowed, softly with a new energy. She opened it and a voice played, Ilara's voice. Jace, I hope this reaches you. I didn't die in the core. Not exactly. My body couldn't return, but my mind survived inside the rift. I found a way to build life within the broken echoes. I raised her. Our daughter. Her name is Lara. Jace was crying now, silently. Ilara's voice continued. I knew one day she would escape. Time doesn't end. It just bends. She is my goodbye. And your beginning. Lara hugged him. For the first time in decades, Jace felt something he thought he'd lost forever. Home. A world unaware. But all was not calm. Across the galaxy, buried deep beneath an abandoned moon base, something ancient stirred. Inside a sealed vault, a shattered fragment of the original timeline Guardian sparked to life. A flickering message appeared on its core screen. Target signal found, Lara Varen, and deep inside the vault. Something answered. Proceed with containment. The child of time in the following days, Jace kept Lara hidden. The scientists studied her DNA. She wasn't fully human, but not alien either. Something in between. Balanced. Evolved. Her brain worked faster, her heart beat slower, and she could see time. Not just count it, but feel it, shape it. She's the bridge, one scientist whispered. The child of two timelines, but others weren't so trusting. The council, now older and more divided, began to argue. Some feared what Lara represented. She could break everything again, said one member. Or fix what we still don't understand, said another. But Jace made his decision. We protect her, he said. Or we risk losing everything Alara gave her life for. The final test, then it came. A pulse from deep space, an echo signal different from all before. Lara stood in the observation deck staring at the stars. They're calling me, she said quietly. Who? Jace asked. The ones who made the loop, the ones who stayed hidden. They know I exist and they want me back. Jace shook his head. They can't have you. We can't fight them with weapons, Lara said. But I can go inside. Not like you or Mom did. I can walk the echoes without falling. It's too dangerous, but if I don't go, they'll come here and they'll tear this world apart. Jace stared at her, remembering Alara's voice, her courage. Just promise me, he said. You'll come back. She smiled softly. I'm your daughter, remember? I always come back. The Echo reborn with a team of scientists and silent prayers from a watching world. Lara stepped into the chamber that once held the Echo core. But this time, it wasn't destruction. It was rebirth. As she entered the stream of time, the walls lit up with colors no human had ever seen. Voices filled the air, past, present, future. She didn't run. She walked. Confident. Whole. Inside the heart of time, she found them, the beings, who had built the loops, the guardians of structure, the keepers of fixed paths. They surrounded her, confused. You are not supposed to exist, they said. And yet I do, she replied. What do you want? Lara raised her hand. To end the chains and build something free. They tried to trap her, but they couldn't hold her. She wasn't just a girl, she was a choice, and she chose freedom. The world beyond time outside, the sky exploded in a wave of golden light. Every timeline merged into one. The loop was gone, the core erased, and in its place, a new path began. A future not written by war but by will. Jace stood alone in the field watching the light fade. A voice echoed beside him. Not from the sky, but from his heart. We did it, Jace, Alara said. He smiled, looking toward the stars, and then he turned to see Lara walking back across the hill. Strong. Safe. Home. History would remember many things. The war. The echoes. The heroes. But above all, it would remember a whisper that crossed time, a whisper that brought the dead to life, the broken to healing, and the forgotten to legend. And on every tombstone, every statue, every story across the stars were the same words carved in silent. Honor. She whispered his name, and he followed her beyond time,